What I forgot to mention in all other new Valkyrie AIOs is that the packaging is completely different. So it's not like your premium packaging that you get with Sin AIO, but regardless of that, we're having budget AIOs currently, and let's be honest, if you want to save more money on the product in terms of pushing a product that is more into, let's say, budget category, you're gonna change the packaging as well. So I presume that in the future, when they actually release some premium high-end AIO, they're going to do with the same thing with the packaging. But I just wanted to state that right at the beginning. And today we're going to talk about Valkyrie A240. And if you remember last time we talked about V240 LITE, which was outstanding when we were talking about performance. So I placed this one in and it just repeated itself. Almost, very close, but quite close and quite impressive. I do have to say, I don't know what's the catch here, and I don't know why the 240 outperforms 360. As I stated in the V240 video, the actual PC is literally the same. I haven't changed anything. So we're having all the components equal and the performance is completely different. So it must be something with the fans, it must be something with the radiator, definitely not the pump or the copper plate or whatever, but regardless of that, the performance is outstanding. So as I stated at the beginning, we're talking about the A240. This is a 240mm radiator that has that standout, as I stated in the A360 video. So it's a cable canal that hides the cable from the back side. It hides the visual aspect of the fan on the front side, and you can remove it, and you can easily remove it because it's plastic and it holds to the edges of the fan. So if you don't have enough space for it, you can just simply remove it. Now, since we're talking about a 240 radiator, I need to mention the dimensions. So we're talking about 276 times 120 when we're talking about the fan, but the thickness for the fan is also 25. The whole thickness radiator plus the fan is 53 millimeters and 132 with these extensions or cable covers or just a cover for the fan. So yeah, the width is 132. Now the pump block top is 84.15, 78.40, 53.0. And we're having copper cold plate aluminum radiator. Tube length is 395, so the same thing as the V240. The fan speed is 800 to 1800 RPMs because we are talking here about Valkyrie A12 fans. Then we have TDP up to 230 watts, addressable RGB connectivity for the lightning on both pump and fans. And we're talking about fan airflow at 69 CFM at maximum, 2.02 millimeters H0 maximum, and 32.8 decibel at max. 3-year warranty with compatibility for Intel sockets, basically all of them, and AMD sockets AM4 and AM5. As well as for the past ones, this one is also supported with their mid-cool software, which you can adjust everything. But as I stated in the past videos, I'm going to state that for every software that I think is totally unnecessary, you can just simply connect where you are basically connecting everything to your motherboard, so you can control everything through either BIOS or proprietary software that is dedicated for, I don't know, each motherboard brand. So for instance, I have here MSI. Of course, you're going to use MSI Mystic Lights, Asus Aurora Sync, and ASRock Polychron Sim, and so on, right? So I'm not going to go into those details, but you have the option to ditch additional software and have everything properly working without any additional, now I wouldn't say bloatware because this is quite alright, but usually we have bloatware that does kind of fill up unnecessary space on your PC, even though it might be a couple of tens of megabytes, but it's just something that I like to point out. Then when we're talking about mounting mechanism and everything that's happening here inside the chassis, you have proprietary cables running out of the fans, which are automatically connected with the proper cable, I would say proper cable, let's say universal cable that splits into PWM, 4-pin PWM, and it splits to Y-splitter that is 3-pin 5 volts addressable RGB. The pump also has 4-pin PWM and single cable, which is 3-pin 5 volts addressable RGB for lights. And this means that you connect PWM individually, one for the pump, one for the fans, and for the addressable RGB only occupying one header on your motherboard, with connecting the fans first, and then into that Y splitter you're connecting the pump addressable RGB header. Quite easy, straightforward, there's no philosophy behind that, and honestly that's quite alright. Then when we go further, mounting mechanism, the fans are already pre-installed on the radiator. And when we're talking about mounting the A240, same as A360, on the motherboard, specifically on the AM5, you have to remove the original retention brackets, then place the standoffs that they acquire inside the accessory box, 4 of those. After that you place the retention brackets and lock them up with 4 thumb screws. Then, since this A240 comes stock with an Intel bracket, well, 2 brackets, you need to remove those, use the same screws and place the AMD brackets on top of your AIO pump block top, and after that you just mount it and tie up those 2 screws. Align the pump block top head and you're good to go. You can turn on your system and that's it, because, well, after all, you have a thermal paste already pre-applied and you have additional thermal paste inside the accessory box. Now let's go again with the benchmarks. The same thing as V240, A240 did the same. AIDA64, typical for 240, CPU went up to 88 degrees, clock speed 4725, and GPU again in this scenario 61 degrees. But then in Cinebench, and there is a difference between A240 and V240, because A240 starts at 83 and lowers down to 81. A240 starts at 85, 84, then circulates around from 83 to 85, and then the last 4 benchmarks at 82 degrees. V240 is, in my benchmark scenario, much better when we're talking about the thermals. Now when we go with the clock speeds, 4975 constant, while the V240 was 5000 constant. And then continuing on the scores, 26,734, this was the first one, and I don't know how it pushed so high comparing to other 9, because a rough average, I would say 26,550, while you saw the V240, it was really much higher, 26,750 or something around that. So this is more normal to the 240 radiator, but still a bit too high, because we're still performing way up high than your average 360 radiator. What's it all about here? Is it the thermal paste? Because honestly, I do have their thermal paste, but I have to test it out separately without their AIO, completely on the side, and I might as well do that. But then again, the copper plate is the same, the radiator, the material of the radiator is the same, tubing is the same, the fans are the same. So comparing their AIOs, everything is the same, right? Except for the size of the radiator. But comparing it to the other AIOs, then we might have some sort of an advantage, comparing it to the pump, comparing to the fans and everything all together. What this does is places a 240 radiator in a quite nice segment with the price per performance ratio compared to the 360, and I can't guarantee that everybody will get these type of 240s, because let's be honest, if they wanted to send a 240 that outperforms everything, they would send a 360 that outperforms everything. So this is something, I don't know, honestly I have no clue what's happening here, but I'm really glad that we're having these type of performance on a 240 radiator, giving us some outstanding scores and quite solid thermals when we're talking about the AMD Ryzen 9 7900X3D, because usually, as you know, it runs at 8890. Depending on the AIO, some do tend to lower it down to 70, 75, but that's it. That's it. This is where it happens. This is where the difference gets by massive margin. And then when you compare the scores, it's not that drastical as we have it on an A240 and V240. Okay, there is a difference with the V240 and A240, but there's a massive difference compared to a 360. And I am quite pleasantly surprised. And I'm definitely suggesting, if you really are on the budget segment for your PC, for your next future PC, check it out. It might perform for you as well. I can't guarantee, that's the only problem, because as I stated, I would expect a 240 to run somewhere around 26,000, 26,100, but not this much. And if this continues, this trend continues through all A240 and V240, then it might be just good. Then it might be really good actually for all of you guys that are really, as I stated, looking for something in the budget category, aiming to have something smaller, not so drastical as the VK02, because it is a bit bigger than your standard MIDI tower. But regardless of that, big thumbs up again. I mean, I said this 4 times in the last 4 videos for Valkyrie, but I can't say anything differently if this is happening. So yeah, the links for the A240 and V240, whatever, I'll just place both, are in the description below, or you can just simply go to their official website and check it out there, because it's definitely something cool. And of course, I totally forgot to mention, the pump block top can be rotated depending on the orientation of the pump block top on your motherboard and depending on the PC and everything all together. So if you have something inverted, you can invert the pump block top quite easily, just rotate it, and that's all there is to it. Guys, I don't think I have to say anything else. I mean, it might be a short video, I honestly don't have a clue how long it is, but you've seen everything and you've seen the A360, so I'm just blabbering now to extend the video a bit to make it up to 10 minutes hopefully. So yeah, that's all there is to it. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, click the notification bell, because we have one more video for Valkyrie, and I'm not going to talk in that video, so maybe you'll enjoy it a bit more. Thanks for watching, see you next time guys, bye bye.